Welcome
to 250 of GI Joburg.
That's right, what Steven said, and I said, both at the same time, because we're so excited.
My name is Steve.
I am
That
Paul.
was Rob.
And
What's up, guys? How are we feeling on this fantastic day?
I'm ready to hear about some new toys from you, Rob. The title of the episode is Rob's New Toys, and we decided that since the usual answer in the new shit section from Rob is, nah, I didn't get anything, he's finally got some things. So we're going to devote an entire episode to Rob enjoying his new toys, rating and reviewing them possibly on the show. Let's find out what an eclectic mix of stuff our main man Rob got.
What did I
past few
receive?
weeks.
It's absolutely insane. So, a little while ago, Steven's parents visited him in Australia, and they came back so happy to have met their grandson, to see their daughter-in-law, to see Steven. But even more importantly, they came back with a huge box of stuff for Paul and me. And Steven's dad, thank you, Ken, was kind enough to drop everything off at the shop with me. He was like, here's all the stuff, boy. Enjoy it. Okay, bye.
How did you get it home?
It actually wasn't that difficult. Over 2 days, I essentially took everything home. So I took everything out of the stuff that was in. I repackaged them slightly.
Mhm.
I managed to get everything home except for one item, which I had to take separately the next day. But yeah, I managed to get it all out and all home very easily. I was expecting like Ken was like, or your mom was like, it's a huge box, and I was like, oh god. And Steven's like saying it's huge, and I'm thinking, oh, it's this life-size box that's heavier than, I don't know, insane shit, like it's Iron Man armor heavy or something.
It's me. I'm in the box. Ah, hello,
But fortunately, yeah, it turned out to be very easily carried by your dad to the shop and very easily taken home by myself. So
Did you get some
it's a whole bunch of-
glances on the bus?
no, actually, I mean, it all fitted into my bag that I take things with
Cool.
when I buy like groceries. So no one even knew I had any toys on me. Maybe that's a missed
Sneaky.
opportunity. I could have discovered some GI Joe fans on the bus on the way home.
Hey, what's that? What you got there? Is that a corpse? My son has
yeah,
corpses.
Buried in the garden.
And don't you tell the police now.
Okay, well, enough preamble. So first up, we have Reproductions. So, kindly enough, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, the reissues, the brand new ones that came out very recently, last year, I think it was. They came. Well, no, it was this year, wasn't it? Earlier this year.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't
Announced
know.
last year, but I think people got them in hand this year. Yeah, sure.
Yes. So pictured now, if you are looking at them, is the reason, at least the way I understand, why they kind of packaged them the way they did, which is slightly differently from the original figures, is so that they can stand upright on shelves.
yay, you also figured that out.
I figured it out because as I was kind of like putting these away for a while, along with some other carded figures, I realized these ones can stand. Which, I mean, I don't know, are pegs like a disappearing thing in the American toy stores or worldwide? Because it seems most toys these days are packaged essentially to stand on shelves.
Because they know people don't open them. So
I suppose that is what's going on there. And they're definitely a lot easier to display this way. So it's interesting. They are fantastic reproductions, I think, of the original figures. I haven't had much experience with the Storm Shadow, but I do have a original of Snake Eyes, and they do look almost identical. Articulation-wise, it's a fantastic reproduction of original vintage Joe Articulation. The only issue I found with both of them, actually, compared to original vintage GI Joes, is their elbows. The elbows are very loose. The joint that kind of goes like down, not the turny joint, not the swivel arm action. But they're very loose compared to original Joes. Joes can kind of hold that position very easily, most Joes that I have. While these guys, their elbows kind of are quite loose. So kind of to try to get them to kind of sit nicely,
Yeah, that's weird.
to have these positions was not that easy. I mean, I'm not saying they're like super loose. They're not like my original
Floppy.
they're not floppy, like you pick the figure up and you know, flopping around and his arms will be flying around. But yeah, the elbows are quite loose. I don't know why, but
I think your
maybe
mileage
they
may
can
vary
tighten
on that
them.
one. Yeah,
Probably,
mine actually feel a bit stiff, like to the point where I was a little scared or a bit hesitant.
That's
to move them
interesting because
initially.
both of these
Yeah.
they're always released. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing of them going all over the world, changes of pressure or whatever. Maybe it's done something to the metal in the elbows, but everything else feels the same as it did on a vintage figure. The texture of the figures is interesting. It doesn't feel exactly like an original. It's actually kind of weird when I'm touching it. I'm like, this. It's a Joe, but it's not really a Joe.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Use your
strange.
words, man. Use your words.
Explain. I just
It's
I
not
can't
really a
explain
Joe.
it. It doesn't feel like GI Joe. It feels like more, I suppose, maybe like what like a knockoff figure would feel like. So they don't feel like what the original Joes feel like. I mean, they're doing all the things that original Joes can do. They're moving in all those ways. But when I touch it, my fingers don't. I suppose like the tactile memory of GI Joes, it isn't there when I feel these ones. I don't know.
It's like Coke
But
has forgotten the original formula.
Yeah, it's like
Hasbro's
that.
forgotten how to make real GI Joes.
Real GI Joes. I mean, they have the O-ring in there and everything. They've the accessories are really cool. I think they did a really good job with the accessories. I still don't quite understand what the extra two little bumps are on the back of Snake Eyes'
Storm Shadows.
backpack do. Oh, Storm Shadows backpack does. I finally figured out that you can just attach the bow to the back of him, which was pretty cool, I thought. But then I suppose that's a feature of the original.
You are
isn't
an
it?
outlier in terms of having the elbow rivets too loose on yours. Because GI Gary and pretty much all the reviews that I saw online kind of banged on about them being quite stiff. So
That's interesting. I
remarkable
mean,
there's
mine
this
were
kind of
really
variance.
loose because whenever I get a new figure, I always check every single joint. I'm like, check this, check that. All the joints are good except for their elbows. Not good, but like they're all tight. They, I could leave them in a position and they'd stay like that. But their elbows feel to me at least very loose. And also like a really annoying thing for me with these figures and also with most new figures. I mean, even the classified figures I have. I mean, it's on their feet, but it's so noticeable the giant bloody barcode on the back of Storm Shadow.
Yeah, that is
Like-
an eyesore.
Like, could you not have like printed that in like you did with the original molds? I mean, that's obviously added in afterwards. Like, that's not part of the process of creating the figure. That's something that they laser scan or I don't know what, like stamp onto the figure
Tempo
afterwards.
print or whatever.
It's kind of like it's an eyesore. I don't like that.
How would you have fixed that, Rob, before you get too far? How would you have fixed that? Like, what would you have done to make that better?
I think maybe choose a different color, like a much lighter color if you had to do it like this.
Yeah.
Like do it either a light color or maybe put it under the foot, somewhere unobtrusive, I think.
Yeah, I think
Like,
I agree with that as well.
Like if you
which is
feel
why
it
I
has to
asked.
be there
Yeah.
as a manufacturer, fine, but don't make it so obvious. Like it's ugh. But like it's what to me is amazing is that the molding on these is actually very good. I mean, obviously they're fairly simple molds. I mean, detail wise, production wise, they're fantastic. They've reproduced the original look of the original figures. I mean, and so this the next picture that I'm currently showing is the original one on the right versus the reproduction on the left, and they are actually pretty accurately the same. I think the only real difference is really just the feel of the plastic. And you can see that the original figure has a very gloss look to it, while the newer one kind of sometimes has a kind of a matte look to it by comparison. I think overall, they're really cool figures. I don't see why. I mean, if this is the start of something, I think that's fantastic. I hope they do reproduce a lot more for more figures. It's nice to be able to own a pristine white Storm Shadow. I think overall, I'd probably rate them. It's difficult because their reproductions are really cool original figures, but there are reproductions. I'd probably give them like a 7 out of 10. I think they're pretty cool, and it's cool that they're 3 3/4 inch figures. And it's nice to see that they're at least trying to make new ones, and hopefully going forward they'll expand this line to reproduce a lot of the other older figures and maybe a lot of new figures. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. No, I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you if you had noticed anything like missing on Snake Eyes, because you have the original to hand, so you can actually look. Did you notice anything missing or?
Not that I remember seeing. To me, at least, they look pretty identical. Like there wasn't anything that I thought that was really stand outish. I mean, even the belt is pretty accurate. I think overall it's an exact reproduction. I mean, even down to like the little boots and the detailing on the back of the boots. Unfortunately, like Snake Eyes, he's a very straightforward figure. You know, he's black and he has very little detailing. But being able to see him again, brand new, is fascinating.
See, I feel like Snake Eyes is of the two. I think in terms of the figure, I feel like he's a little bit stronger than the Storm Shadow because I felt that although they both have that matte feeling, I felt that the Snake Eyes kind of has more of a satin finish and it feels a bit smoother. And I'm sure if you're holding them in your hands now, you can feel that difference between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes.
It could be maybe the paint. I mean, they had to obviously add paint applications to Storm Shadow, but the lack of paint on Snake Eyes makes him more true to whatever the new method is they're using to the new plastics are they're using for these figures.
Yeah, because like I gotta say, every time I like write down something, you know, to talk about with these figures, I kind of feel like I have this impression of them, and then after a few weeks of messing around with them, I have a slightly different feeling about them. And the one thing that has definitely come to me, and I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm setting you up for this now, so I'm sorry, Rob. But I feel like the texture of them gets to me a little bit has gotten to me. Like in the beginning, I was like totally fine with them. And now I far prefer the Snake Eyes over the Storm Shadow because of that. Because the Storm Shadow, maybe it's a strange tactile thing for me, but I just get a bit of a semi nails on the chalkboard kind of feeling from that figure sometimes. And I think this is like a me thing. I think, you know, maybe I have a tactile, you know, disorder or something when it comes to
what I mentioned just now is that they don't feel exactly like GI Joes. For some reason, when I touch them, whatever the tactile memory is, you know, like I can see the GI Joe, it's in my hand, but it doesn't feel like a GI Joe. I don't know. It's really weird.
That's it. I'm selling my non-existent pre-order for the Sky Striker then. They got me. They got me by selling off all those extra Cobra figures. They're like, what? They're going to be like 5 figures in the box? Amazing.
Wow, original vintage GI Joes.
I'm going to hemorrhage my credit card for this, HasLab. But if they don't feel like GI Joes, I don't want them.
Well, I mean,
also...
It's this experience that both me and Paul are obviously having here, that they don't feel exactly the same. And also, like, one other thing, they changed the holes in the bottom of the feet, and I don't understand why they thought they had to do this. Like, the original figure is completely round, while the holes on these ones are like kind of like hexagonal. Yes. So it's really weird. Although, like Snake Eyes' one is actually slightly more rounded. So I don't understand why Storm Shadow's one is so hexagonal. Like it's definitely hexagonal, while like Snake Eyes' one is like a little bit hexagonal. So I also feel that they had to do that.
I also feel that you can get the stand deeper in Snake Eyes' foot. And not that you want to force it or anything, but I just feel like
not. You don't want to snap
like it gets. Yeah, exactly. So it gets in there. But Joe Mauler, he mentioned on his video that that's something that you see in a lot of the 90s figures. Actually, is that hexagonal foot?
Oh yeah, no,
foot
the
peg.
later figures do have the hexagonal holes in general. It's
So that's-
weird that they chose that as a thing to do to these. Like that's a new thing they did to them.
I feel like in some ways it's kind of a way to stop people from putting them up on the secondary market as real vintage figures.
I reckon so.
So
I mean,
at
there's
least
obviously
people can
something
Show me
that's
an eBay
different.
listing that has a picture of the undersides of the feet, guys. Feet?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
but
the other big difference is that they are, as long as you can see the back of the figure, they are branded 2022. They do not have the
Yeah.
original, whatever year,
Tattooed.
1982, 83, onto their bum.
Yeah.
So on their bums, they do have the new date put on there.
And then the last thing, like I feel like mentioning is because I have, and because I very thankfully and luckily have the original Storm Shadow, I feel they had to change or fix the head sculpt. Or when I say they had to, they didn't have to, but they did. So if you look at the vintage Storm Shadow versus the classic or versus this O-ring version, the original head sculpt actually has a seam in the mask that runs down the middle of his head. And this retro O-ring doesn't have that
it's
same
there.
seam. It's gone.
I can see it.
Well, mine definitely doesn't have it.
Okay,
Mine-
now I can see it. Like mine definitely still has that there.
because like if I compare my one to my vintage one, the vintage one it's very clearly there. It's like it's
Interesting.
very there. Yeah. So
So I think it's
Yeah,
cool
man.
that they reproduced them, but yeah, they're definitely not my favorite figures ever. But moving on, I also got a fantastic selection of actual vintage GI Joes.
yay!
5 to be exact, including Ice Cream Soldier, so I can finally finish writing my story of Operation Ice Cream Scoop. Dusty. I know people have been clamoring for it. I mean, Snake Eyes, as well as what's his name again? Dojo, Tijbang,
Yeah.
Dojo,
Doge Cat.
and another countdown. I think Dojo is countdown, but I'm just saying, and another countdown.
Oh,
I,
Rob, you
Space
mentioned
Program.
Countdown.
I did. I counted down. We counted down to countdown in these. This
Counted
assortment.
down.
These are all
Countdown for
very cool
countdown.
figures.
Version 4 Snake Eyes.
Yes,
Orange
version 4
hockey
Snake Eyes
mask.
from the 90s.
Paintball Snake Eyes, I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he's ready
He's a
to
goodie.
go and fight people. They're all very nice figures. I think they're all a lot of fun. It's nice to be able to own figures with cloth detailing to them as well. Like Dusty, and I think Dusty and Jojo are my first ones with cloth detailing. Offhand, I mean, if I'm just thinking about it right now. And of course, Dojo is probably the only figure I have that has real hair, and the hair has stood the test of time. It's still very much there, and the cloth
very
the cloth
hairy.
feels nice. He's so hairy. So these are all fantastic figures. I'm very happy to have to expand my original vintage line a little bit further. Like I think Stephen owned not only, but he owned 3. He owns 3 of these 5. He didn't own an Ice Cream Soldier or a Countdown, at least this version of Countdown, growing up. So I've had experience with these guys. Not so much Dusty, but I mean, I've had experience with Dojo and Snake Eyes, and these are all very cool figures. And despite him being lurid yellow and orange, I think Ice Cream Soldier is pretty cool, and he would look really good with Scoop. I think they will make a good team. I'm looking forward to actually finishing that and filming that for everyone. So I think Scoop, Ice Cream Soldier, I'd probably give him like 6 out of 10. I mean, he's the most like 90s of all these figures. Dusty, I love his gun. He struggles to hold it, or at least maybe I'm not putting it into his hands very very well. But because of the magazine being further back, it is kind of like making it more difficult for him to hold the gun nicely. But I've always appreciated this figure, and yeah, I'll probably give him 8 out of 10. A fantastic figure. Snake Eyes is definitely 90s. He's very 90s. He's got his orange weapons, but I think he's distinct and different from the versions that come before. Like it takes elements from them, especially like the kind of like that hockey mask sort of thing, and the goggles from the original one. The goggles from not the original, but I mean, yeah, he has a look to him that's different but the same. He's Snake Eyes, and yeah, I'll probably give him 8 out of 10 as well. He's a lot of fun. Dojo, and Tijbang were two very cool characters. I think it was Tijbang who's the other one. He's also the yellow one with the blue stuff. I always feel like
I love
come
our
together.
pronunciation of shebang. People have said it's shebang.
Shebang,
in retrospect,
really?
but as kids, we just phonetically spelt out every letter of
Tijbang.
the word.
It's fantastic.
Tijbang.
Yeah. Well, I always called him
Bang.
TJ Bang when I was younger.
Oh god, that's
Because
so cool.
I didn't want to read it as a word. I
Like
was like
DJ
TJ
Bang.
Bang. But
He's
now
a
I'm more
very
like
cool figure.
Chebang because I think it's cool.
And his feature, his feature doesn't his kind of like choppy feature doesn't limit his ability to be posed nicely, which I think is really cool. It's just his right arm does a little choppy thing, but you can still pose him really well. And I've always liked this figure. I'll probably give him a 6 out of 10. And he still looks so fresh. It's fantastic. He smells good too. Countdown. I think when I first saw this figure, I was like, oh, cool, it's Ozone. Because I think they did reproduce Ozone with a similar helmet, or at least a similar look to him. So and then Steven was like, no, that's Countdown. What? I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I do prefer his original coloring, but it's cool to own another version of Countdown. I'd probably
This is
give
the
him
red, white, and blue Star Brigade version.
Yes, Star Brigade version. Thankfully, I mean, yeah, it's not lurid, it's not out there. I think he would still fit in with the rest of the space figures that I do own. I probably also would give him probably like a 6 out of 10. I've always appreciated Countdown, and I think he still looks cool. A really cool
I used
figure.
to have that toy when I was younger because I was able to, buy it off the pigs. I got
Hell
a Target, an Astro Viper, and that Countdown. Good days, happy days. I'm sorry that I missed out on the Roadblock because that Roadblock, in hindsight, is actually a very cool toy. So
Hell yeah, dude. Go find it. Go find it. So next up,
what's
we
that?
have Hydro Viper. So I got 2 sealed figures. One of them is Hydro Viper, and it's just so cool to have like a figure in packaging again, and to be able to like see all of the figures that I could have gotten back then. It's just such a fun experience, and then you kind of like rip it out, and you're like, oh, fantastic.
I have an
I'm
empty
so glad you opened that.
A fresh Joe, never touched before, brand new. It's like I'm like it's 1999, 96 or something. I'm 13 years old and I've got a new figure. He's very cool. I've had lots of experience with this figure. Steven owns one, and now I finally own one as well. He is as cool as I always thought he was whenever I played with him, or at least like fiddled with him with Steven's one. My one, thankfully, does not have floppy elbows. His elbows are absolutely stiff and fantastic. He can do great stuff. It's really a fun figure. I think this is probably definitely a 9 out of 10 for me when it comes to original GI Joes, especially like later GI Joes. He's lurid, but it fits what he is, his function. Being an underwater
9
guy.
out of 10 because of the experience of uncarding him, or is he really better than Dusty?
I think he's definitely better than Dusty. Dusty is fun,
Okay.
but it's the experience. Yes, it's the experience of uncarding him, but it's also I've always really liked this figure. Like I think I was always jealous that you owned him, and it's
Oh,
really
sorry,
nice to be
Robbie.
able to own him now too. He's really
So-
really cool.
Were you sheepish about like ever playing with him then? Because you never did, even when I wasn't using him.
It's always been like that though. If I don't own the figure, I think generally I always was very like, I don't want to play with it too much. You know, it doesn't belong to me. I don't want to break it. Stephen was very, at least initially, I think he was quite a taskmaster when it came to like, you know, damaging things or like losing things. I mean, obviously you don't want to do that, but like, I was always worried that if I lost something, you know, with friendship done, no more GI Joes.
And then I broke one of your like Dracula McFarlane figure's arms. And I was like, oh jeez, is the friendship done? Rob didn't seem to mind too much. Hope he doesn't
like,
find
okay,
out that it's stuck on with blue tack.
I'll just keep breaking things and we'll see where this goes.
Now, there's an accessory there that I have no tactile memory of, and that is his knife, which I must have lost day one. I, as an idiot 5-year-old child, uncarded this guy in the park, in which I then later played with him. So many of the small accessories did not come home with me that day. And that knife, to this day, I've never felt one, never had one. I've substituted it with Star Brigade Destro's knife, because he came with a silver one on a weapons tree. But as far as the original accessory is concerned, and the original accessory has a different mold. The handle is kind of
the
squared
handle
off.
has like a bit of a squared off thing on it, yeah. And the ridges are only at the
But I
bottom.
see that even in a new uncarded mint figure, it has a very loose grip in his usable hand. Okay.
But
Tricky.
He does still hold it well, though. It's not moving. It's not doing a
isn't
lot of moving in there. It looks loose,
like-
but it does fit well.
But I like how it sits there. It looks very natural, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it looks like how
he's-
you
he's
would hold a
knife
knife.
heavy and things.
Yeah, I'll cut you.
But
But
if you
And-
took the front end of that lightning bolt blade off, then it would be a believable diver's knife. But with that extra kind of bob, I mean, this is a dreadnought weapon, basically.
You got to be careful with
Crazy.
it.
well,
Oh, yeah, no, for
I
sure,
mean,
it would be a proper knife. Yeah, if you took that entire front bit off.
well, for me, I mean, I think the first
gonna
time
do it
I
right now.
experienced that knife, I think it came with the space, what are they called, man? The Star Brigade Armored Marines.
Yeah,
Armored,
yeah. The
BAAT.
battle armored android trooper came with it, and Destro.
Yes, yeah. So it's a yellow one, I think, if memory serves. And I remember thinking that that was like the coolest knife. That was like my favorite knife in GI Joe. Like when I was a kid, I was like, this knife
yellow
is
knife.
so rad. I love it. It's so extra. Not that I was thinking about it that way. I was just like, this is a cool knife. Doesn't look like a normal boring knife. This is like
kind
a
of like the-
special electric
the-
knife.
Well, it
The
had to be kind of
M1911A1
energy blade in order
gun.
to make a dent in those armor tech guys' like hides. So yeah, I mean, by the time it got the Star Brigade upgrade, it was some kind of techie Kineto blade.
It was something absolutely crazy. And along with this carded figure, I also received a carded Scoop, who I'm going to keep in his card because I have so many uncarded Scoops. And it's cool to have another carded Scoop and a slightly different version, because the other carded Scoop I have has the picture of the included face paint. So it's nice to have slightly different packaging for this version of Scoop.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you got like a
you
more.
got
This one is more
uninterrupted
vanilla
art.
compared to the other one.
Yeah. So you can kind of see
The
more.
first
of
time I've
art of
noticed
it.
that his 45 has like an extended mag.
Yeah.
So Scoop's not only dealing silent death while filming, but he's dealing so much of it. He needs the extra bullets.
Or he can't aim for shit.
Besides decapping. Jeez.
People are always interrupting his filming. Always.
Well, he doesn't want to do reloads while he's rolling. That's amazing.
So there's a lot of GI Joe stuff. Yeah, I mean, not discounting Hydra Viper, but here's a vehicle.
Oof.
This is the Python Patrol. What is it? The Condor? Condor?
No, man.
Conquest. There we go. Condor.
Silly boy.
This is a gorgeous toy. Stephen for ages had the original GI Joe version, but I think it looks so much better as a Cobra vehicle.
Not
And
the original GI Joe version. I had the sound attack times 3 because they were clogging up Toys R Us, and I was like, oh, okay,
Can't
I'm in
not
for
buy
3
it.
then. They were like discounted massively. I think they were like 40 rand at the end of the day. So we
I love
bought
how
They
I'm
3.
the
look
one.
I remember
fantastic on the
Alistair, he was
flag.
like, they're so cheap, I'll just buy you another one because I'm desperate to like launch one of these off the roof of the University of Cape Town. I was like, no, even if they are cheap, I cannot in good conscience destroy a toy like that. So
I
no,
remember that
Yeah.
night.
even if you buy
Yeah,
me
he
5
was
more, I'm not going to destroy any of it.
he was really excited to break that one.
What
He was
an
like,
arsehole.
I love how like you buy 3 and then I'm the one who gets told I have no impulse control. Younger Steve
They
is a
were
very
40
different animal.
rand. They were so cheap. The fact that I
How
didn't
much?
buy
It
their
was like
entire
nothing.
inventory is just a testimony to how I was an idiot as a young adult. Like, well, I could be selling them off for dollars on the cents, pennies on the dime, dimes on the whatever. I don't know. I
You could be selling them for at
a
least
little bit more money.
twice what you bought them for.
Yeah, amazing. No, man. No, dude, I remember like applying the decal. Like it took me so long to keep stickering each of them. Like I was on the toilet stickering the one. I need a wipe, guys, but I gotta finish this first.
Someone get in here. And as a bonus, he comes with I have another scoop. I believe that brings me up to 4, 5 scoops now. There's my
My word,
original.
dude.
There's the Kokomo Toys version. There's the 2 carded. There's this one that's 5, and then the Toy Club. What are they called? The Joy-Con exclusive version. But I mean,
figure subscription
5
service
original
thingy.
and figure subscription
Yeah.
one makes 4 original, and one of those makes 5. Yeah, it's nice to have another beta. Oh no, I do have another one. There's a fantastic custom version that I got given that makes him look like Crimson Guardsman. So it's a Crimson
Yes.
Guardsman with a scoop head. So actually, then I have 6. Then, my goodness, it's not enough. We can get more.
This
This is
just
such a
occurred
cool
to me
toy.
that to be accurate to Operation Dragonfire, you've got to take the Crimson Guard disguised Scoop and put him in the cockpit of the Python Patrol Conquest.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to do it. I will do it. He's going to get in there, and he'll be the one flying it around. They'll have to be in like an alternate timeline version of Scoop, or maybe that's his origin story. We'll see. Like the detailing on this
According
thing
to
is so
Zeke,
good.
it would be. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Rob? I think I've asked you before, but just so we can
I think
refresh the opinions of the listeners on your opinion.
Well, I think it's a cool way to introduce a character into the series. I don't think it is necessarily his, or at least my version of the character's origin story, because I mean I saw Operation Firefly years and years and years of. Wait, was it Dragonfly?
Close enough, I'll accept.
God damn it! Years and years after obviously owning the figure and having my own sort of like headcanon-y type thinking about the character, because not every character has to have a tragic like origin story, like my family's dead, joined Cobra, okay.
Well, they danced around that. Maybe if this was not an all ages production, it would have been my family was killed by GI Joe. But no, it was my family's home was destroyed by GI Joe. Like,
Which is
Yeah,
cartoon.
it's like,
Dude,
oh,
Uncle
no,
Sam
they're in
for right
debt
click.
now. But I mean, I think you would always have made that connection that they were killed. I mean, you're not going to join Cobra because your family's in debt now because they lost their home. That's not.
I think that's a perfect reason to join Cobra.
No. That's not
God,
good
I would
enough.
join Cobra if that was the case.
How much
far
money would
better
they be
than the
paying?
alternative.
Like, it's like, oh no, I'm going to give up a career as a journalist and join Cobra to take on the people who destroyed my childhood home. Maybe he had a lot of Joes in his home, or like lots of toys that he really liked. He had a train set or something. I don't know. But to me, at least, it doesn't feel like it's not good enough. It's not a good enough reason to join. I think his family definitely died in the fire, at least the Deke version of him. But this is a fantastic toy. Like just the Pythonization process just looks so cool on it, and just all the stickers. It looks like a proper Cobra vehicle. Like I really do feel like this is more Cobra than it ever was a GI Joe vehicle. Like it's I don't know, it's just so cool. Also because like Cobra generally has more experimental jets, and definitely this design of jet is a lot more experimental compared to the normal type of jets that GI Joe do own. Okay, they have like the Ghost Rider, the Ghost Hunter, but that's much later on. I think this
Also,
should
the
always
Ghost
have been
Striker.
a Striker. Yes, it always should have been a Cobra vehicle, and I think yeah, I'd easily 9 out of 10 for this. It's an absolutely fantastic toy.
Wow, love
And it's compact.
love.
It's a
Wow,
compact
Rob, you.
toy. It's easy to fly around. It's a lot of fun to have.
Sorry, pardon my like mix up there. I was like, wow,
No.
Rob, you really love this thing, hey? Like, damn.
Oh no, for sure I do. I definitely love it.
Are you gonna
As-
fly it in our international backyard battles?
Hell yeah, dude! With my custom scoop, he's gonna
Interesting
terrorize.
question happening in the Bergforce chat.
Mm.
Is this a superior deco to the original grey shark-mouthed GI Joe version?
For me, it is. I think it definitely is. I mean, okay, it doesn't have a mouth like the original does. It has the eyes on it. But there's just
But
something.
it's a snake, so yeah,
It's
the
a
mouth wouldn't be a
snake. It
prominent
wouldn't have
feature
the
on a
mouth,
snake.
but there's just something absolutely. It's like just thinking of them painting this thing. It's just it's crazy. Like this pattern cannot be that easy to apply to a toy, and it comes out so well. It looks absolutely fantastic. To me, at least, yes, this is the superior version of the Conquest. And it's definitely a lot of fun. I love it. Pops, but it doesn't pop as much as this guy, Pimp Daddy Destro, from the classified line. I think he's called something else, but he's Pimp Daddy Destro. Yeah, this is. I think I said once that I thought this was so awesome, and then Stephen in Australia managed to find one on sale at a toy
Well,
shop.
it was in that episode that I wasn't in when the first series of classified figures were being unveiled at a toy show. And you and Cooge and Paul discussed this, and I listened to you guys after the fact on Podbean, and I gleaned the fact that out of all those initial figures, out of Duke, Roadblock, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Destro, and Pimp Daddy Destro, you leaned heavily towards PDD. Like, he was your guy. Like, of all those figures, that was the one you wanted the most. So I remember those words for a long time. And when I saw this, like, on sale for the low price of, like, $9, it had been reduced from 40 to 9. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy one of those.
Cheaper than the
I'll buy a
Conquest.
few of those, actually.
Can't not get one of these. He's just so extra. I love it. He's just.
And I love the packaging. Like, how extra is the packaging as well?
The packaging
Like,
is
they
gorgeous.
didn't just like use the standard packaging. They like went all synthy on it, all synth 80s pimpy.
It's so
vibe on it.
cool. He's just absolutely amazing. I imagine the figure itself is identical to the normal version, so the articulation is very good overall. I think always with these ones, at least the classified figures, they always have something that limits them a little bit, and I think it's especially the holster, because the holster always has to connect to something on their belt. So the holster kind of like makes at least their right leg not as articulated because of that thing being in the way. But that's the only issue
Yeah.
I think I've ever had with any of these classified figures.
And
And
that leopard print.
oh, it's just so extra.
sexy.
I don't know why I love this guy, but I absolutely do. It's those glasses. He looks the part. I think
He's so
the
deal
only
with it.
the only disappointing part of this figure is the suitcase. The suitcase is so basic compared to the rest of
Yeah.
him. It's boring by comparison. Like,
Yeah.
why? Why did you include this? But at least it's gold. It's gold. It's
Right.
fantastic. Like, this is the version of I don't even know.
That
He's just
flaming-
so cool. I can't actually
that
explain
flaming wad of
why I
cash
like
is
him.
so
The
great.
flaming cash. He's like, ha 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 ha. I burn
I
money
burn
because I
money."
make so much from all the guns I sell. Ha 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 ha. He's really cool. all the little extras, yeah, the money, the glasses, even his little chain is loose on his neck. It's not like molded onto his flesh. They did a really good job with this, and I think it's a fun variant of Destro. And even though he's a classified figure, not to knock classified figures, but he's a lot of fun. It's cool. If I don't own a lot of classified figures, I'm really glad I own this one.
I gotta mention this from the comments. Alex S says it looks so good with the AK from Valiverse, and that is true. If you guys got the, I think it's the Weapons Pack Alpha or Weapons Pack Bravo. It's one of the two, but it comes with a set of gold weapons. So it's got a gold handgun. I think it's a Desert Eagle, if I'm not mistaken, and a gold AK-47. And there's two ways of looking at those weapons. The one is, from video games when you unlock a gold gun, like Uncharted or Call of Duty or whatever. And then the other side is like, these are perfect for Pimp Daddy Destro. There's like no mistake.
Oh gosh, okay, I need to get this pack. I know, like today, right now. I need it. But I think overall,
I'll double check. I keep thinking there's a double in there, but I'll check for you. If there's a double, I'll tell you.
If there's an extra, send it my way.
Yeah.
I definitely give this guy 10 out of 10. He's a fantastic figure.
Whoa!
Hell yeah.
We busted the count. Sorry, I missed your rating for the Python Conquest.
Oh, that I gave, I think, 9 out of 10. I think it's fantastic as well.
So we have a new king in town. Player for real, player. It's PDD, baby. Jeez, Rob. I did not expect you to rate this guy highly. I thought maybe your enthusiasm had cooled.
No, he's so much fun.
It was actually just an in-joke that you said you wanted it, and I eventually got it for you, and you eventually, after like years, got it in hand, and you're like, oh no, it's trash. My
enthusiasm has not died for this guy. He's just so extra. Like it's absolutely amazing. I love him. He's
cool.
Insanely cool.
Mission accomplished.
And continue with the Cobra theme, we have the Thunder Machine, which hopefully I put together correctly. This is a really cool toy. Okay, it's the the Dreadnoks, yeah, but still, it's once again it's an extra vehicle. It's just a thing with giant guns on the front, and a huge engine on the back. It's just, this is Dreadnought through and through, and I think along with their bikes, this is Dreadnought. I think you can't look at this and be like, that's a Cobra vehicle. No, this is a Dreadnought vehicle, and we've featured this in some of our videos, and it's a really fun vehicle. I love that its tires are actual like rubber tires, and it's such a cool vehicle. And I'm happy to own one now.
It's like the mullet of Cobra vehicles.
Yeah, I think so. Like you
because
either
you
love it or you hate it.
Yeah, because you either love it or hate it, but it's like business in the front and party in the back. Or as we like to say in South Africa, it's business in the front and party in the back.
It's so much fun to look at and to like imagine it zooming around and zooming it around. It's its own thing, but it still fits within, I think, what other Cobra vehicles, the color scheme. Yeah, it's a cool vehicle. I probably give it like a 7 out of 10 because it's a Dreadnought vehicle, and I don't really own any Dreadnoughts, so I can't put anyone in it. I suppose I can put Scoop in there. Scoop can really fit in anything, really.
You got enough scoops, man.
Oh, hell
He
yeah,
can
dude.
be in both positions in the cab. He can ride the hood too.
Man, like, and just whenever I see the Thunder Machine, I always think that the Dreadnoks have such potential to have their own spin-off, like comic book or cartoon, of their like sort of exploits. I can always imagine this being like their own thing because they've got a car. They've got a cool car, and there's like, there's enough of them for them to be like a squad of people. It's kind of like the evil version of Firefly. Yeah.
And they have a varied group of people. They're all wild. I could see them doing a spin-off and hopefully making it interesting enough. that some people will pick it up. I mean, obviously the Dreadnoughts have tons of fans. I'm sure you're all out there. You dreadheads, or whatever you guys like to call
There's
yourselves.
one right here.
So this is a cool vehicle. I really like it. But what I like even more is the Snowcat. The Snowcat is freaking amazing. It's a compact little thing, but it has so much potential. And yeah, once again, it's one of those vehicles that I was always jealous that Stephen had and I didn't have. And this
Now I'm
this
jealous
is
that you both have one. So
it's a good version.
You get the missiles on easy enough for it there, Rob?
Yes, I
was
did.
terrified.
I was
Okay.
very gentle because I did see that the one little on the one side, the little peg thing was obviously fixed, but it did fit quite comfortably after being very gentle with it. I think it took like 2 or 3 minutes just kind of feeling it out before
good
kind of
man.
like pushing it down because there was an angle where I could get it on.
It had
very
a sweet
easily.
spot, I know, and like I'd hoped you discovered that. It took you 2 minutes.
oh god,
Good.
I'm 12 years old. Just carry on.
There is a sweet spot, you know. Just get the right angle, and it goes right in there, real easy.
Snug fit though.
Oh, absolutely. It stays
Like
in
it was
position
brand
really
new.
well.
Like it's made for you.
Cool,
And
man.
it's such a straightforward vehicle. Like I love like the very limited color palette of the vehicle. You know, it's just basically white and black with the accents of the missiles, which I suppose are like scoop yellow. Whoever applied the stickers, they're fantastically well applied. They look really good. I want to call him Killzone, but obviously that isn't his name. It's a
You mean frostbite?
Frostbite. There we go.
Killzone.
Frostbite.
Jeez.
I don't know why they
Vicious.
did mine.
Yeah, jeez. Glass canopy up front. Yeah, right.
He is definitely in the kill zone. It's a very cool vehicle. I've always appreciated it, and also it was one of those vehicles that that is an iconic GI Joe vehicle. I mean, this is one of the few that they chose to turn into Transformer because it's a very unique to GI Joe look, and yeah, I really wish I had snow. I have 2 snow vehicles, and I have no snow to run them around in, but.
You got a white
Well, at least
sheet.
it's cold, Rob.
I have a white sheet. Yeah, I do actually. I can
That's how we
definitely
used
cover
to
my.
do it, man. Back in the day.
Our powder was very white and very clean.
Very
Cape Town. What a town.
What a town! What a
smelled
place to be
conditioner.
in.
So,
Rate it.
yeah.
Thunder machine.
Well, this as well. So the Thunder Machine, I think I gave like a 7 out of 10. This I definitely give it 8 or a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. I'll go with a 9 because it's always been a vehicle I've wanted to own, and I love that it's so compact. Like it's easy to move around. You throw it around, and lots of places for dudes to stand on it once you fight off those little like missile sled things. It's so cool. I think all my vehicles that I own, I'm really happy to own all of them. Like I don't think there's one where that I ever regretted having them. You know, either having bought them or being given them. They're all fantastic, and they all kind of serve their own purpose. And it's nice to have 2 snow vehicles now. So I have kind of like a good snow fleet going. Now I just need a
Need snow.
I need snow. Oh yeah, I need snow, but I also want the.
You're rolling in
wolf.
piles of cocaine, Rob.
Oh, for sure.
Jeez,
It's so cheap
Scarface
here,
up
you know,
in here.
Africa. It's super cheap down here, you know. The South America to South Africa, it's a short trip. It's so cheap.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say it's cut with a lot of other things, but no, in that case, it's just cut. There's no
It's just
not a trace of cocaine in
down.
there. Yeah.
Not that we have any experience with the illegal drugs.
Oh no, drugs are bad,
from-
kid. Stay off the drugs.
It's
DEF
evil.
told you so.
Stay away from them. And
Also-
last but not least, yes.
Oh, sorry. I just want to make one more comment on that snow cat. It is so
Okay.
white. There's no yellowing
is
that I
so
can see on the
beautiful.
shot.
It's absolutely fantastic. Like
Dude.
it's stood the test of time. Like it feels new.
It is the whitest snowcat I have ever experienced, and it's ably assisted by a fresh set of repro stickers. So this is a lot of
I was
love
gonna
went
say-
into restoring this one.
It's
I was gonna
very
say,
cool.
Steve, like those stickers look so fresh and so well. I mean, when you were talking about them being so well applied, Rob, I was like, yeah, no shit. They look like they've been applied by an adult.
Like
Yeah, like-
yesterday.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's fantastic. A fantastic selection of cool new vintage stuff to add to my collection. But last but not least, there was also Snake Eyes and a Timberwolf from the classified line.
Oh, cute.
So these are very cool figures. I think they capture the look of Snake Eyes perfectly. Like these are two versions of Snake Eyes. They both feel like Snake Eyes, and Timber is so much fun. He's it's so cool that they articulated him. You can get him into like a nice little like he's sitting down pose, and you can go crazy with him. It's so cool to have a dog. And the cool thing is, he's big enough that you can actually ride him. I should have taken pictures, but at least the 3 3/4-inch figures can kind of like ride on him, and I think that's really cool.
Scoop will ride anything. Conquest, Thunder Machines, dogs.
Oh my goodness! So I believe this is the original Snake Eyes that they released after the
Exclusive,
the exclusive
Onto the
version.
fancy one.
So
Yeah.
this is the less fantasy one. He's very cool.
The
I
mass
like
retail.
Yes, the mass retail version. I think it's a very good version of Snake Eyes. They've kind of updated his look. It still looks very much the original. It's mainly black, which is good. I mean, there's a kind of little few silvery details going on there on the figure. His accessories are really nice. They're all attached to his backpack, which I thought was nice. To be able to hold on to all of that. And this is the more ninja version of him, so he comes with a sword. And the stuff that comes on him, like his bandolier and the gun holster and the knife holster, it all allows him to have much more movement compared to the other one, which is actually a little bit restricted, at least because of the really big equipment kind of like thing that he's got on him. I wouldn't say it's not the vest that he's wearing kind of limits his movement, at least in the chest area, and makes him more like he definitely is the commando version of Snake Eyes. And that's definitely evidenced by the fact that he comes with a ton of guns. Comes with 3 very awesome guns and a crazy dog. Wolf.
That dog. It's a wolf.
But
okay.
It's a wolf.
We know
It is a wolf. I was very scared taking his head off because he comes with 2 separate heads, but it pops off fairly easily. I think I struggled more getting this one on than getting it off.
Yeah.
Kind of because you have to like really press it on there.
Did you put it in hot water first, or did you just do it dry?
Oh no, I did nothing.
Did you
dude.
raw
I
dog
just
it?
popped. There's no water here. No
You be
wearing
brave,
the paint
son.
job. And yeah, definitely the newer one is very much a commando. He comes with 3 guns, and I was confused because only 2 of them have removable mags. Well, the Uzi, the mag does not come out. I'm not sure why they decided not to make it removable.
Isn't there a suppressor as well?
There's a suppressor, which
Yeah.
I put onto his. It's nice because him and the other one both have guns, pistols that go into holster, and the suppressor goes into has a place for it on the holster as well, which is really neat. Yeah,
That
but
Uzi is so great.
probably the biggest improvement I think over the 2 figures. So with the original, he has a knife holster on his left hip, and it's horrible. The knife does not go in there properly.
That's annoying.
It flops around. I think I eventually had to put it in backwards to get it to fit in well. The newer one's holster for the knife is so much better. The
Yeah.
knife goes straight in there. It stays in there. It's the exact same knife. I think the pistol is also identical to the original one as well. But I think that's probably the biggest improvement. Otherwise, they
If
feel
I'm
very
to
much
get
similar.
controversial for a second about the magazines being removable, I think that was Hasbro learning a lesson from their
Valivers.
little dog competitor. Because the Uzi hails from a pre-Valiverse time, and the removable mags on the other guns, it's definitely in a post-Valiverse has done it already kind of world. So
But they're very whoever designed them they're very well designed. They have a nice little like I don't think it's an audible click, but there is like a feeling of a click when you do push it in all the way. So it sits well on the weapon, and he holds all of his weapons really well too. And because of the way that they're kind of like articulated, the shoulders are amazingly well articulated on classified figures. Like it's not just there's not just a ball, but there's a thing that the ball joint goes into, which allows him to actually shift his shoulders even more forward. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the butterfly. Yeah, the butterfly joint.
The ball thing goes into another ball, and then that allows him to really move his hands forward, his entire arms forward, to be able to actually hold weapons a lot more nicer. These are both
okay.
really
I'm going to rescind my point, not only because Ryan has corrected me in the chat that Hasbro through Marvel Legends had removable magazines, but as I recall, I think Roadblock's like electro prod railgun weapon thing, whatever it is, from the first series of Classified.
Yeah, it has a removable clip
thing.
Then there really is no reason why this one shouldn't be removable for the Uzi. Maybe it was too thin.
It's a very small grip. It's
guys,
they didn't mess with the proportions of the Uzi. You know, having a removable mag can be detrimental even at this scale because you have to expand the sizes of things in order to make it a durable fit. So an Uzi looking like an accurate, well-proportioned Uzi probably didn't allow for that.
But also, like, worth mentioning, and yeah, Steve, you make a very good point with that. To what I want to add, the Action Force stuff. Not all of the rifles in Action Force have removable clips, even though it looks like they do. They don't. I know this because I've tried to pull the clips out of all of them. So one or two of them are actually molded in there.
Your rifles on the way. Oh,
yeah. And then also, somebody mentioned Snake Eyes, the origins, the movie, blah blah blah, whatever's. But from that line, the Baroness figure, her MP5 ish gun, has a removable clip as well, and it's also a very dainty kind of sculpt, very much like the Uzi that they did for Snake Eyes. So
it's just fascinating. I don't know what the reasoning is. Then I mean, we've provided lots of different versions of why they might not have done it, but also why they could have done it. But I think also most of the time, at least with these ones, those are all mags that are not part of the handle. You know, they're separate. So it's a separate little piece in the weapon that you can more easily mold and make removable. So as classified figures go, I mean, I don't own a lot, and I have two Snake Eyes. I have Pimp Daddy Destro. I think these two are very good, and they kind of fulfill their roles very well. Like the one definitely looks like a ninja. He's more svelte, he's more slimmer, while the Commando one definitely feels more commanderish. Like that version is not gonna pull out a sword and start slashing and jumping around and doing crazy shit. Like he's gonna
pull out a bench press and start doing reps, my bro.
He's a bit
swole,
more,
bro.
He's definitely more swole, and because of that, the vest that he's wearing, it also kind of makes him more buff. It makes him a little bit bigger. But they definitely feel like they fulfill different roles, or at least different versions of Snake Eyes. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that it's not the exact same figure that you're getting. You're getting a Snake Eyes that appeals to a different set of people that enjoy Snake Eyes for different reasons. And they're not completely identical as well. Like the second one has different detailing on him that makes him different from the first one. And I think worth getting. I don't know how to rate these.
Are the heads compatible? Could you do a head swap if you wanted?
Ooh,
to
I didn't
change
actually
out
try
body?
that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you would, because look, the Commando look doesn't necessarily lend itself to having the grenade bandolier. But for someone who just can't stand the visor, aka me, and would want to put the goggles on everything, that's something that I would want to do to the exclusive Snake Eyes that I have.
Well, I'm finding out right now.
Whoa! It's happening live, guys.
While Rob's popping Snake Eyes' head off, something I want to mention as
Tight fit, Rob.
I personally feel like when you grab both of these figures, the commander version has a like this really cool detailed feeling to it. Like I'm not talking about like the look of it. Like when you feel it in your hands, it doesn't feel as chunky as the first release. I feel like it's like comparing the model kit of a sports car to the die-cast version of a sports car. That's kind of the feeling I get between the two. I feel like the Commander feels more like the model kit in that it's just got this like cool, rich, tactile feel to it that I really appreciate. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that the reason Hasbro has finally started adding removable clips is because they clearly refuse to add changeable hands. So it's always nice to have the other open hand doing something, holding a clip, popping a clip in, taking a clip out, scratching its nuts. These are your options. So,
Well, okay, so Stephen, you cannot swap these heads because there's a fundamental difference in the way that they attach. They're both
they
attached with
trolled
ball
us.
joints. They're both attached with ball joints. But the thing is, the Ninja Snake Eyes, his ball joint is slightly larger, and this amount of space between the ball and the moving joint is a lot shorter. While the Commando Snake Eyes has a much longer like pole that kind of sticks out from the joint to where the ball is. So there's a lot more
Oh.
space between the ball and
Do
the
they
joint.
do this deliberately? They must. They must
do
know
it.
what the sizing is for their balls and their heads.
Because it
And they're like,
neither
no,
of them will fit onto the other one.
customizers in their tracks. Bloody hell.
They will not fit.
It took long enough. It took long enough, but I anticipated this, and I certainly anticipated from the listenership and the comment section below that the gun nuts in the group want to insist that we stop calling magazines clips.
I've been
Clip is
calling
a
them
distinctly
magazines the whole
different
time,
thing.
haven't I? Pretty sure.
Paul
the
loves
whole
saying clip.
episode. I like
He's
saying
gangster.
mags. I like saying
But
mags.
I
It's a cool
saw
word.
Ryan refer to them as clips in the chat, so I was like, okay, maybe even guys with guns say clips sometimes.
Do you see?
But
It really does
absolutely.
depend, unless there
I
is
see
a
you,
difference
Gary,
between
and
a
I see you,
clip and a
Buttface.
mag.
Absolutely.
Maybe there is.
The clips are that thing that goes ping out of the Garand M1, and a magazine is the box
Hell yeah.
that you load in. The
So I
bottom of
think
that.
my
these
dad
are
just gets
both.
annoyed with me. So if I say clips,
Oh really? When
as
you say
well,
clips? He's
yeah,
like,
because he
"No,
doesn't know what
son,
I'm
it's
talking
a
about. He thinks
mag."
I'm talking about a clip, like a paper clip.
Oh.
He's like, "Oh, you mean a magazine?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Sorry.
Dad. Everyone keeps correcting me on this. I'm not
It's like
taking
you
the
with your
hint.
funny words.
But
So I
Paul,
think-
you're also just gangster, bro.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hip hop taught you about guns, not the History Channel.
No, actually, books on guns taught me about guns.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Ryan says he's not ashamed to say he says clips. There you go.
So
Just
these
a
are
piss
both
off the gun nuts in the group.
these are both really cool figures. I think they're different enough from each other that it's nice to have and own both of them. I actually don't know which one I prefer.
Ooh,
It's difficult to
controversial.
say. It's difficult because I think that the ninja version is definitely a great ninja version. The commander version is a great commander version, but I probably do still lean more towards the ninja version because he feels more posable. He feels yes, he doesn't feel as like rugged as the commander version does, but I feel like I can do more with him. Like I like that I he is a ninja and I can do ninja shit with him. But so I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10, and I'd give Commando Snake Eyes probably 7 out of 10, especially because he didn't come with a backpack. Like of the two, the one that needs a backpack is the Commander version.
Yeah.
I don't think a ninja needs a backpack.
It's weird.
I don't
Like I didn't miss that. Hey, personally.
I did.
But
Like
now
I was
that you
fiddling with
mention
him,
it,
I
I'm
was like, where do I
oh,
put all
yeah,
these
he didn't come
guns?
with a
Like
backpack.
he doesn't have a backpack. Like the first one, you can attach everything to the backpack and to him. But the cool thing is having two of them, I can now give the commander version a backpack, and he can at least look more complete.
At least it
Well,
came with
you
a
could,
with a dog.
absolutely share equipment between the two.
Exactly.
The wolf
Just
can go to the
absolutely crazy.
Commando Snake Eyes. Oh no, sorry. The
Just
wolf can
to
go to
Ninja
Ninja
Snake
Snake
Eyes.
Eyes. The backpack can go to Commando. And have you noticed that it's a universal peg, so the sword sheath can go into the back
Yes. I
instead of the
just
backpack?
did that
Yeah.
right now, actually. While I was filling with the heads, I
Excellent.
attached the sword to Ninja Snake Eyes, and I put the backpack on Commander Snake Eyes.
Perfect.
And that
it's amazing that
is
you got both at the same time. That's some
Hell yeah, dude.
sublime bit of planning.
absolutely
Darren Cobb
absolutely
has a
amazing.
question for you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, how are they on the silky snake scale? This is what's been going on in the comments, by the way. The silky snake scale.
Well, touch-wise, I think, yeah. So Ninja is way more silky. Like, he feels so smooth. It's a really good smooth snake going on here. While Commander Snake Eyes is more like he's a wrapped snake. He's ridged for your commando pleasure.
Extra danger.
Yeah, there's more danger going on here. And I can see this body very easily being changed to a beachhead, actually.
If
You
they
just
hadn't
change the
already done a
coloring?
beachhead. Yeah.
Have they? Was it actually based
Yeah.
off this, though?
No.
No,
Well, I think the
I
legs are the
can
same.
very
Hold
easily
on.
see this.
I think I got my beachhead close by.
Isn't the body beachheads the torso?
I'd like to
I
think
think
so,
so.
because the arms are like proper. Is that kind of like jersey look to them? Maybe they did actually just do beachhead using this body, or at least the upper torso.
My beachhead's
yeah,
in the lounge.
absolutely
being
fantastic toys.
photographed. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is every GI Joe that I've received. That's all the new toys. I have a lot of people to thank. From Stephen and Paul. So all of these came from GI Joburg members, people that have given stuff to GI Joburg in general, to me specifically. So an absolute ton of people who have helped to get these figures to me. From Ken lugging them all the way from Australia to here. Things being sent to Stephen. So in no particular order, thank you, Robert Klupertan. Thank you, Gary V. Thank you, Dustin, aka Dragon Fortress. Thank you, Bart, so much for the Ice Cream Soldier. Thank you to Cody Scalf. And Stephen, thank you so much for the Pimp Daddy Destro. Thank you to everyone
don't
else who
forget good old
contributed to
Nelson.
all of these figures.
Nelson was responsible for the Snake Eyeses.
Yes, Nelson. Thank you very much.
And and give Joe Mauler blow him a bit of a kiss for your vintage figures and your retro O-rings.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Joe Mauler. Thank you to everybody whoever gives anything to me, to Stephen, to the whole of GI Joburg, I think. Being able to receive toys, I don't get a lot that often. The boys get a lot more often. But I mean, I think it's always appreciated. Like anything that you ever send to us, we're always so happy to get it.
Oh hell yeah!
It really does makes it so much cooler. That we're all sharing the stuff with each other and sharing the love of GI Joe. I mean, we talk about it with each other, with you guys, and the videos and the podcast and everything. It just keeps it alive, and it's just so cool that all these years later we still we're still into this thing, and there's a passion that we all share for this, and I think it's really cool that it brings people together still. Thank you everybody. Absolutely amazing. It's just definitely made this a much better year. The last 2 years have been difficult, but
Drought.
It's been a drought, but it's so cool to have new stuff and to like figure out where am I going to put all this stuff.
Yeah.
Look, Rob,
gonna have to play
to be
with it all the
perfectly
time.
frank, there's more new stuff on the way. The only reason I refrained. Well, there are multiple, I suppose. One reason I refrained from sending them is because there was a limit on the amount of stuff I could send with my folks, even though they very kindly purchased an additional luggage slot on all
Aw.
their connecting flights. Like,
Oh no,
I told them not to do it. They did it anyways, and so I was compelled to send them with a rather large box, which had stuff for you and Paul. But
I must
the
take
other
them out for
reason
lunch or
is
something.
this. No, they are ridiculous. Their generosity has, like, I think they had kind of felt like they'd saved up 2 years worth of generosity to show their son and his friends, and they kind of spent it all in this trip. At least I hope that's how it equates, because yeah, it's flabbergasting
it's
any
super
other
awesome.
way. But the other reason is stuff that I'm hanging on to here is stuff that is planned for future. It's destined for the two of you, but it's planned for future play motions. So if you were a contributor to GI Joburg and wondering, that was meant to go to Rob, or that was meant to go to Paul, why didn't it find its way into this episode? Well, it's going to take a little longer because I'm greedy and I wanted to keep the wheels of content turning. So yeah, I have hung on to one or two things. Apologies. But eventually
But
they
for
will
sure.
reach their
I mean,
intended.
I don't do it for I don't do the podcast for all the cool stuff that we get. I do it because I enjoy the experience. I enjoy the people that we interact with. But
And also,
getting
it's
cool
when that
stuff is
stuff's in a play
absolutely
motion.
amazing.
Guys, I
Radio,
got
Paul,
Thank you
I
for
suppose-
listening to me ramble for an hour and a bit about all the cool new stuff that I
such
got.
cool stuff.
Hopefully,
Are you
this
kidding?
caught you
They
guys
love
up.
it.
It gave everyone, that thing you wanted every week. Me saying, "No, I don't have anything. No, I don't." Finally, there's an entire episode, our 250th episode, numbered episode. I think we've obviously done a lot more than 250, but yeah, it's Rob's New Toys, and that was it. But have you guys got anything new recently?
I was about to say I did. I also got a Snake Eyes, and he is as absolutely mediocre as you can expect. It's Ninja Force Snake Eyes from 1993, and he's just he's such a tease, man. He could be so much better, and we all know why. Bloody hell. It's a firm reminder that departures in articulation with GI Joe just really hurt that much more. It's painful to me. Like, I don't mind it with other toy lines nearly as much as I mind it with GI Joe. Like, the sweet spot for me in terms of how articulated a figure should be is exactly the template of the O-ring GI Joe circa 1985. Why? Why?
like a
Who
blessing
thought this
and a
was a good
curse.
idea? I think even as kids, because we were still into our late childhoods when these figures were being... No, not even. I was 8. I was in the thick of it. And we disliked these departures from articulation. It was not a worthy gamble. So G.I. Joe trying to do the Kenner's superpowers thing, like, even if you were a fan of superpowers, you would have turned your nose up at this stink. However, I have done one cool thing to him, and because of the cross formation of his various bandoliers and things, and the dropped shoulders on him for the action feature, which is something that also hurts his lines, but I think you might be able to see in this picture there's an elastic, a black elastic, crossing his torso. That allows you to do some weapon storage.
Fantastic.
And it is because it is basically locked in place between his shoulder gap and also the bottom of his crossed bandoliers. It isn't going anywhere. Normally when you attach elastics to a figure, that'll roll up and down, it'll shift. This is secure, man. It is a secure bit of weapon storage for him to then sheath a sword on his back.
See, somebody's had a good nibble on the sword. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is a pre-loved sword. Someone definitely had a chew once upon a time. Someone or something, maybe a cat. Actually, I think it did come from a cat owner, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
Aw.
But anyways, the less that's said about this guy, the better, because he's just, oh, he gets you all the way there and then like denies you.
Yeah. Yep.
The biggest tease of
such
Snake
a
Eyes.
cool looking version, like of Snake Eyes, but yeah, let down by his special features.
Yep, gross.
On my end,
And it
sorry.
was Gary's first Snake Eyes, he says in the chat. So
Wow.
it is with some delight that I think, you know, it was only the only way was up from this version, Gary.
Unless you got
then
the
got
color
the
changing
Shadow
one.
Ninja version.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then that's downwards. That's the opposite direction. Good luck still having
Paul,
thumbs
you
for
got
that
anything
guy.
new?
I don't, which is fine,
What?
actually. Yeah, I don't.
right,
No,
well
it's
then
Come
shut up.
on.
No, there's a
That was
no,
250.
it's cool. Going through a kind of a sounds weird to say this, but kind of a nice toy drought at the moment. Because the toy shops haven't received anything new. They've got some of the Buzz Lightyear stuff, but like nothing too exciting at the moment. None of the jets or anything
Well,
cool
Paul,
like
there
that.
is some new toys waiting for you the second you're able to like make a move to my sister's place.
That
You
is
just pick 'em
true,
up.
and yeah, there's been there's been a few annoying reasons why I haven't been able to do that. Which which is like the same reasons why I haven't been able to go to a shopping mall in the last 3 weeks. But
It's gotta
yeah,
be bad for you to not like go and claim
Get
some free
toys.
toys.
Yeah.
yeah, dude,
they're
like
Free.
Yeah.
It's free. It's waiting for you, Paul Lopka. You just have to
I
be Paul
know.
Lopka, and then the
I
toys
know
are
it's
free.
it's just
free real
it's just a
estate.
matter of getting the logistics sorted for that, and amongst other things, because there's just been very busy weekends with Gunplay SA
It's a
stuff that's been
15-minute
happening.
drive, Paul, if that.
Yeah. Anyway,
You just have to cross that egalitarian curtain called Jan Smuts Avenue to the posh side.
Well, Paul is edging. He won't, he's keeping it until, he can't stand it any longer. Then he'll go get them.
No, I'm actually really want to make a plan to go and get them. Like I really wanted to go and get them this weekend, but
Jan
circumstances.
Smuts Drive. Jan Smuts what's it called?
Avenue.
I just call it Jan Smuts.
Yeah.
But what's it? Come on, help me, man. I've been in
Avenue.
exile too long.
Avenue.
Avenue.
Paul said so.
It's Avenue. Yeah, Jan Smuts Avenue.
Oh, I got it right. Okay.
Yay.
Hey.
But I
I'm losing
do want to
touch with
make
my identity, guys. Flip.
No, I gotta say, there are one or two things that are starting to appear in my big bad toy store pile of loot that I'm hoping to ship soon, which will be very cool. Rob, something is in there for you as well, which is cool. Yeah, so I think you'll be very excited. Actually, just waiting for one more little item to appear, and then I can actually get it shipped. But I wanted to ask you guys this question, and because I saw this recently on Facebook and on Insta. And it comes courtesy of Ronald Hoff. How old were you when you realized Countdown could do this?
39
Yeah.
right now.
I
didn't
was-
know
I
that.
had Countdown as a child and didn't know about it because I think I tore that part of the packaging that shows the grapple on top of the submachine gun or machine pistol.
Yeah.
But it wasn't recent. I did learn about it as an adult when I discovered.
Yeah,
That is
I'm-
absolutely insane. As soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go grab my countdown.
Yeah, I'm totally today years old on when I learned this because my god, this is so cool. Like this
I don't
just
think it's a good
elevates this
fit,
toy.
though. If it was
Doesn't matter, it
designed
looks
that
cool.
way-
I love that it doesn't.
The reason
I love
I
that-
dispute it as a thing is because it's not a great fit. I think maybe the art was reflective of what they were trying to achieve with the toy. So they had obviously like whoever was doing the designs at the time, they had that to go off of when doing the art. But I think the engineering of the toy could have been more suggestive of it.
I know for sure. I mean, I think yes, it's on the packaging, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's something you can do with your toy. And I suppose it's not
I find the
mentioned anyway
string
either.
provides the friction to keep the grapple in place. If you took the string out and just tried to put the plastic together of the gun and the grapple, it would just fall off. But maybe that's just my copy.
It's absolutely insane. Wow. I'm looking
Wow.
forward to trying this.
I remember feeling this way when I found out you could put Scoop's camera on his backpack.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like it's the same feeling. Like, oh my word, it could do that. Yeah, it's just
I love it.
it's great feeling.
Every now and then I see a fresh comment like, "What? You could put Scoop's camera on his backpack?" Well, we've established that it's not true of every single copy.
That is,
So
yeah,
that's the Mandela effect of that accessory. Some
Hell
people
yeah.
have these two things that marry, like the one that Robert Kalupitan recently got himself and showed on our Facebook group. And some people have like a filled-in backpack hole. Was it yeah, it's the backpack hole that's filled in. Yeah, I had to drill mine out on the copy that I currently have.
That's crazy. It must have been, maybe it was like however the molding was done, it wasn't consistent.
True.
So it,
Yeah.
or maybe
that's
the
probably
mold
what happened
broke
there.
halfway through or something. Yeah.
Or something like that. Or just the way that the plastic flowed into that space in the mold. It just to make it consistently able to do that feature. But I'm hoping my countdown can do this feature.
Me too.
Shall we
I
close
want to go
this episode the way we opened it with a whole scoop full of Rob? Rob, do you have a response from our previous recording that you'd like to read out on air and bring our attention to?
Hell yeah, I do.
Scoop reads the comments.
Be sure to comment in our YouTube section, and maybe your comment will find its way into Rob's Lovin Scoopful.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it again.
I'm trying to find it again. I'm not looking at this comment section for the first time.
Oh, guys,
Called it.
we finally got Disney Plus in South Africa,
Woohoo!
and it's great. I mean, like, it's just great because I got to say the content on Disney Plus is pretty cool. There's a lot of really great shows, whether you like them or not. At least the quality's there. It's not like Amazon, which is, in my opinion, 70% crap. Actually, more than 70% of it is crap. Like literally crap. Like the kind of stuff that you would have found on DVD for sale for like R5. But Disney Plus makes a good. It gives a great selection, and it's been quite cool to find all of the old Marvel cartoons. You know, like the old Spider-Man. And I'm talking about the 90s Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man. Yeah, so that whole block, it was Spider-Man and Iron Man. It's great to have those shows because I really enjoyed those cartoons and I still really enjoy them now. And they do have a good handful of cheese every now and then, but they write. Like they sit well with me, and it's just cool to watch them again. I was thrilled by that actually. And it's great that they've got the DuckTales movie, because I really enjoyed the old DuckTales movie. And I finally managed to put my eyes on Marvel's What If. Yeah, so I wish they didn't do that. It's like, no. Like, I know we kind of spoke about it because we it inspired an episode of the podcast. But the more I go into those episodes, the more I'm like, just no. Like, if you guys have enjoyed them, cool. Then, you know, you're lucky because you've had something cool to enjoy. I'm just sitting here going, I can't get through them. They just absolutely irritate the crap out of me, honestly. The way that the dialogue goes, and you know, that it's just performances are so shit. It's great. I hate them. Anyway. Just wanted to put that out there while Rob is finding his comment.
Oh, here it is. So it is Toy Bounty Hunter, because I enjoyed his misconceptions. So he said 2 misconceptions I distinctly remember having was one that involved everyone's favorite infantry. No, not Footloose. I'm talking about the OG, good old Grunt. For a year or two after I got into GI Joe as a kid, I did not know he was the GI Joe infantryman codenamed Grunt. I thought he was the G.I. Joe Grunt, aka G.I. Joe's version of the Cobra Trooper. I thought he was the one and only Trooper figure that G.I. Joe had, and kept wondering why they never released any more Trooper figures for G.I. Joe since 82-83. The second misconception was that I also had the exact same idea about Wild Weasel. I thought for a while he was a trooper figure. That misconception did not last as long because I saw him in the cartoon, and realized he was an individual character as well. Yet somehow I never saw Grunt in the comics, didn't collect every issue, and missed the few episodes of the cartoon featuring him for a while. And finally getting Footloose and seeing him in the cartoon made the light go off regarding Grunt. Eventually, saw the episodes featuring Grunt, and it finally confirmed everything. Is that something you guys had? That you thought Grunt was a grunt, not the grunt?
You know, for me, that term grunt, like a military grunt, that only came. I only became familiar with that term after, like midway through being a teenager. So when that figure when we had Grunt, the '90s version, I just
Oh
thought
yeah,
it's Grunt.
impossible to think that he's a troop builder.
Yeah.
So
That was my experience with it. So yeah, but that actually makes so much sense. Like that seems like an easy mistake to make.
Yeah,
actually.
if you
In
know
fact,
what a
yeah.
grunt
in
is.
UK, it wasn't a mistake. In the UK, Grunt was sold as the Action Force trooper, and he was a mail away, and he was an army builder. So it's technically not a misconception if you're thinking internationally. Like there was this ambiguity with the Grunt figure. In the US, he had a file card, sure, but across the pond, they were like, "Oh, he's a green guy. He's a basic-looking trooper. He comes with an M16. Let's market him as the Action Force basic soldier."
Yeah, the Green Army man.
Mm.
Yeah.
But in general,
Exactly.
the misconceptions people had were very interesting. Like one guy also thought Snake Eyes was blind. Another guy thought Snake Eyes was actually a Cobra trooper.
It's such a fertile topic for discussion because everyone's got them. Like no one received GI Joe as this perfectly vivid, clear picture. We all cobbled together the information from catalogs or maybe a random episode of the cartoon that we taped off the TV. Or at least that was the case for me. You know, it's a fun thing to dabble in, and I do hope that we revisit that topic. In fact,
Oh, I think
because
so
I
too.
think
But
our misconceptions maybe skewed more towards, or for me at least, towards toys and what they could or couldn't do.
yeah,
Whereas there are so many more misconceptions that exist in the media of GI Joe.
yeah, no, for
We could
sure. I
probably
mean, and
break it down like
media.
that.
Speaking of media of GI Joe, there was also a comment from someone who had a misconception of a GI Joburg itself. Someone was like, "What is this? I thought these were episodes of a guy playing with his GI Joe toys. That would have been better." We do
Agreed,
that,
dear commenter.
but we do these too.
Look,
I hope
I'd
you come to enjoy
happily
these podcast
hang up
episodes.
the microphone forever if I could be with my friends and just play toys. GI Joburg as a project, as an experience, as a fireside chat between three friends is for me a substitute for the fact that I can't be with you playing right now, Paul and Rob.
Ah,
So this is a conceit. This is a compromise.
closest we can
And it
get
just
for
so
now.
happens that we can kind of pull in an audience and a listenership with this. But like, I don't know, man. If I had the option to give up GI Joburg and just play with my toys in a heartbeat,
One day,
with or
dude,
without
we'll
a
move into a
camera
commune
involved.
together. We'll help take care of each other's family and kids and whatever else. And we just play with toys. I think it's coming.
Yeah, just
2036.
have this existence. We'd be in a
Just living on a
GI
farm
Joe
somewhere,
toy playing commune.
making our own
It's
food and whatever
amazing.
else, and we're just playing with toys all day long. It's gonna be amazing. 2036
Ugh.
is coming.
Yeah, right. All right, you weirdos. I think that's a wrap on episode 250. Thanks, as always, to our listeners out there, our fans, our friends, the people in our groups who compliment or comment on the regular, and most of all, the handful of folks that feel the need in them, swelling up in them to toss us a couple of dollars every month. We appreciate you guys immensely. It is always something that grows the channel, keeps us in new toys. Isn't that right, Paul?
That is true, and it definitely helped Rob get his toys. It's how we pay for some of the shipping sometimes. So, yeah, definitely helped.
Thank you, Bergforce. All right, 250. We are out.
Heck yeah.
Oh, if you want to get a hold of the show, drop us an email at arealsouthafricanhero@gmail.com. That is linked in the description below. Alternatively, if anyone wants to get a hold of us directly, I think, Rob, you're on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm always on Twitter. No clarity here. That's me.
I am running our socials typically, so a direct message to Instagram, or GI Joe's Instagram, or Twitter, or Facebook will come to me. And Paul, if people want to get a hold of you directly,
I am also sneakishly skimming over the comments that we get on Messenger from Facebook and sometimes the
Lurker.
Instagram stuff. I look.
you never respond.
But yeah, if you wanna direct something at me, hit me up on Messenger or on the Facebook group. Just at me, or if you are one of the Bergforce members, you can always hit me up on Discord. You can just at me on our GI Joburg channel, and I will respond to you. And also, quickly on our way out the door, the timing is now perfect for this. GI Joburg is once again doing International Backyard. If you guys don't know what that is, go and check out our video called Element X, where we did this really cool and fun video project with a lot of contributors, and we want to do it again. This time we want to be a little bit more extra, and so we've got our original members locked in for it. So this is kind of the call for anybody who's listening to this episode right now that hasn't done it before and would like to, join in on the fun and put in your own play motion. The best way to jump in on that is you can either shoot us an email on arealsouthafricanhero@gmail.com, or if you're in the Facebook group, just drop us a messenger, shoot us a message on Messenger so that I can add you to the International Backyard Discord. And by the time you hear this episode, that'll be a good time. You'll only have a few more days to really get in, because I'm sort of locking down the roster now. And I want to start getting things rolling, because that's going to be an exciting project. All you need is some GI Joe toys and a cell phone camera, and you should be good.
Heck
And
yeah. 250.
I definitely want to play toys with you guys. I would love that, just to add on to what Steve was saying earlier. And I hope you guys all get a chance to and I hope you guys all get a chance to watch the new Top Gun, because I still haven't, annoyingly.
Well, it hasn't come out for us, Paul.
It came out on the 21st, didn't it? Or is it on the 27th?
27th. Comes out here the 27th.
Oh, thank goodness. I was like sitting here going...
Rewatch the original.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
In the meantime.
I have to subject
I
Celia
showed
to
the original's opening sequence to Elliot the other day, and when Danger Zone kicked in, Elliot said, "Wow."
No ways.
No, he just said, "Wow." In his little sweet little low growl. Wow.
He's a man.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's kick the tires and light the fires, baby. We're gonna kick it in the Danger Zone. I have the need for speed.
Berg.
Berg.
Cheers.